Oh boy, here we are, little Eugene. I can spot him a mile away. There's Grandpa. And there's Eugene, washing his car. Or is it his boat? By God, it looks like it might be. No, it's a car. That looks like Gratiot Avenue. Oh, there's Patrick. That's little Patrick with the blonde curly hair and the big blue eyes. He was gorgeous. Patrick and Patricia. And Kathleen's combing her hair. They had beautiful curly hair. Look at them. Those were the days when all the babies were young. There's Daddy. Those were happy times. My mother always used to say, love your children when they're young, because those are the happiest days of your life. There's Johnny. And the funny part about it is you're working so hard you don't realize that they really are the happiest days of your life. There's Mary. Sleeping on the couch. It was a Boyle thing, sleeping on the couch. We never could sleep anywhere that we weren't happy unless we were on a couch. To this day, it's either a couch or a lazy boy, and every single one of us are addicted to it. There's Aunt Catherine and Bob Diamond, her husband. We're back in the East now, I believe. There's Catherine and Fred. Oh, there's Aunt Ann, and there's Grandpa. My cousin Ann is there. Golly, I hope I can see her again. Agnes's two daughters were Ann and Dolores. Agnes was another nurse who was another sister of my father. That's Catherine. They're in the beach in the East. And my father was the eighth of 12 children, and he had two sisters that married two brothers, Agnes Kenny and Ellen. Ellen married Patrick Kenny, and Agnes married Edward Kenny. And Ellen and Patrick never had any children, but Agnes had Dolores and Ann. Now we're in the East and the ocean. There's Cecilia and Kitty and Freddie and Catherine in the beach. And this has got to be back in some place, probably in Newport or Cape Cod or somewhere. It might be in Rhode Island. Oh, there's Aunt Rose. I wonder if they ever took any pictures of Aunt Ellen. I don't know if Aunt Ellen lived long enough for us to have the camera or not. Now, who's in the car? There's Catherine and Daddy. I'm trying to figure out who's in the car. Good, you open the window. Now I can see there's Kitty and Sissy. And that's Freddie. Oh, this is them in the East. There's Aunt Catherine back there, and Aunt Rose. Aunt Ellen was a jewel. She was so, and Bob Diamond. And there's Grandma. Aunt Ellen was very soft, very lovely. Aunt Catherine she was kind of the family dictator. Everybody kowtowed to Aunt Catherine. And poor Rose, oh Lord, poor Rose, she was such a sweetheart. She just went along with anybody that was telling her where to go or what to do. And she was such an easy going. Her and Aunt Ellen were very soft and lovely, as I remember them. Although I didn't see them that much. That was the old white Cadillac. Grandpa bought that white Cadillac for Grandma. And they went all over. They kept going back east in it. Okay, where are we here now? We're still back east. Now, I think this is Danny Conley, which would be a cousin of my mother's. I think Danny Conley was a cousin of my mother's, and that's his wife and daughter. I wish I could find out more about my mother's relatives. Maybe I'll find someone. There wasn't much. I remember them talking about them, but it's hard to locate them. This is Mary Ann's graduation from high school. She was a very bright girl. Look at the beautiful roses they all carried. Wasn't it gorgeous? Boy, the nuns at Regina really knew how to do things nicely. It was beautiful. There's Mary Ann. They're all wearing white gloves. See, and they say that school is better nowadays. I think school was better in those days. They had a lot of class. There's, look at that. You can tell they're marching. And the song, the Graduate Pomp and Circumstance song. Oh, every time I hear that song, I cry because I remember my own graduation from Dominican. We had the same thing, the white caps and gowns, and all had the same shoes, and we had marched just so to the sun. It was so nice. But we didn't have video cameras in those days. Mary Ann graduated 10 years after me from high school. Oh, everything is so beautiful. Look at that. Off to college in the fall. Oh, there's the lady that's renting the cottages. This was one summer we had a kind of a family reunion. I didn't go to it. Jim was out of town and I had a bunch of babies, but my mother and father got cottages up north. And I think Frank came to town and Catherine came to town. I don't know, we'll see in the movie here. But I know Mary and her family were up there, and Mom and Daddy. And I believe Catherine was in town then. This was Lake Huron, and it's Lakeport, Michigan. It's just north of Port Huron. And we had a kind of a family reunion with everybody, and I believe they were up there for a week or two. It might have been just a week. But they rented cottages, and the family came up. Is that Mary Ann? It looks like her, yeah. And that's the old Cadillac. Daddy bought 2 cars for Mama in her lifetime. One was a big old LaSalle, about a 1930, no, it was about 37, no, I'll tell you. I know exactly when he bought the LaSalle. I was 6 years old, 1940. 40 or 41, I think. He bought a big black LaSalle, and it had big deep wells, and it was just like a Cadillac. And he brought Mama home from the hospital after she lost a baby when I was 6 years old, in this beautiful black beauty car. And then the only other car then, the next car he bought was the white Cadillac. And they had that until Daddy could drive no more. Ah, here's Catherine's children, Kitty and Freddie, and they didn't take a lot of pictures up at Lakeport, evidently. Or maybe this is them coming. No, this is them on Gratiot. This is when they were coming from out of town to Gratiot. There's Patrick Weiss and Mary. I'll never forget Uncle Fred. He said when Catherine packed to go to Detroit, she put so much stuff in that station wagon, and I remember when they landed, I said, "Hey, Fred, she's got everything in there but the kitchen sink." And Fred's remark was, "If you look hard, I think you'll find that in there too." Oh, God rest their souls. There's Katie. Dad and Uncle John. Now, are we back east, or are we in Lakeport? Nope, we're back east. There's Aunt Catherine. And there's Aunt Rose. Yeah, after the ladies all became widows, the sisters all became widows, my father used to go back east, and he'd spend about 6 months a year back there just taking care of his sisters. There's something there, I have to say. When my father was 18 years old, his dad, he said goodbye to his mother in Ireland, and my mother said to him, "Now you go and you take care of your sisters. And take care of all of them for me." And he said, "I will." And his dad took him out to the train. He went down by train to the port in Cork. And the little boat took him out to the big boat. He came to America to take care of his sisters, because they didn't want the girls to be alone without a brother. And Mark was supposed to come, but Mark refused, so they gave the ticket to Daddy. They didn't want to send Daddy, but they had to send a boy to take care of the sisters, so they said, "Dad, you gotta go." His mother came and said, "Francis, you have to go." And from what I was told, my father never said no to his mother. That's what they told me in Ireland. They told me that back east. He never said no to his mother. But the thing about it is, he came out to America, and he looked after his sisters, and then when he married Mom, he came to Detroit. And then when his sisters became widows, this is Johnny, he's in the east too, he went back to take care of them, and he buried every one of them. And then he buried Uncle John. That looks like one of... No, I think that's just a friend. Anyway, he buried Uncle John, and when he buried Uncle John, he looked up to the sky and he said, "Well, Mama, I did what you told me. I've taken care of all my brothers and sisters." This is Johnny and his buddies again. I don't know where this is at, but every once in a while he would take the camera. We'd go golfing or out with the fellas. He'd take pictures. There's Johnny. I hope he hits this one. The last one he couldn't get out of the snow. He got that one off though. God bless him. God rest his soul. Here we are, the Knights of Columbus. Oh, that was a favorite in our family. Lord knows Uncle Fred was Supreme Warden of the Knights of Columbus and Commander for the state of North Dakota twice. My husband James is Knights of Columbus. My sons are Knights of Columbus. My son-in-laws are Knights of Columbus. It's just wonderful. It's a wonderful men's Catholic organization, and I'm very proud of every one of them that are in it. Oh, we're at the airport here. I'll be darned, there's Daddy. And he's got baby Rosie. And there he is. No, that's baby Rosie. But who's Daddy got? There's Francis and Freddie. There's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. Oh, he's got either Peggy or Beth Ann in his arms. It must be Beth Ann because Jimmy looks a bit older there. I wish I could see Daddy again. There's Mary Ann. Oh, Lord, did you get... You look very young and trim there. There's Patrick. That is Peggy. That is baby Peggy. Yes, there's the little face on baby Peggy. Yeah. Yes. And there's John and Grandpa and Daddy Jim and Peggy. Marguerite Amalou III. There she is. I wanted to call my first baby Marguerite Amalou, and my mother said no. She said, you call her after your husband's mother and grandmother, because Jim's mother and grandmother were still alive, and I wanted to call her Mary Rose, and he said, no, you honor the oldest lady first. So she got Rosemary. And so the next girl that came along, I said, that's it, she's going to be after my mother. So I called her Marguerite Amalou after my mom. There's all the children playing. There's Rosie. This must have been around St. Patrick's Day. She had her little green and white dress on. Oh, this is... Somebody was having a baptism. Oh, I got to tell you about these cakes. Every single time that we had a baptism, Johnny specially ordered from a special bakery near his work a cake. It was just like a wedding cake, and he specially ordered them for the baby's baptism. He got one for every baptism, and all the kids looked forward to it. It was beautiful. It was a cherry nut pound cake, and it was wonderful. Okay, now I'll bet you 2 bits this is going to be Beth Ann's baptism. There's Daddy and Mama, and there's all the kids. Where's the baby to be baptized? That's what I want to know. Now that was my mother's kitchen. It might not. No, there's Peggy. There's Peggy. Yeah, that's her. Oh, Lord, she's still on the telephone. Heavens to Betsy, she's over 40 and she's still on the telephone. Peggy's like me. The 2 of us have a lot to say to the world. Patricia, Francis, Patrick, Rosemary, Peggy. Where's little Jimmy? He's there somewhere. Mama, Daddy. Yep. I wish we would have seen whose baptism it was. I knew that was a baptism cake. There's little Eugene. Okay, now Frank. There's Frank and Phil. And Glenn and Frank, Grandma and Grandpa. Now let's see who's coming up next. Okay, there's Pat is the big guy on this end. The little guy in green is Eugene. And the other little guy in the front is Mike. That's Frank's family. That was the first 4 boys. And there she is. Daddy's little angel. Anne. Oh boy, the first girl. And boy, did Daddy love his little blondie-haired, blue-eyed girl. In the Frank's family, there's always a big laugh. They say, Daddy took 1,000,000 pictures of Ann when she came along. And poor Jane said, Daddy, what about me? There wasn't that many pictures by the time poor little Jane came along. Jane and Jean didn't get as many pictures as Ann. But that was Ann. And Father was an ex-baby after Ann. Father Stephen. That's Eugene. Little Eugene's not completely agreeing with everything at the moment. There's Frank leaving, going home with his family. Going home with 5 and probably coming back next year with 6. Eight all told. Oh, there's Terrence and Eugene. Eugene and Terrence. Oh, we finally got little Terrence. And there's Patricia. There you go. You were a cutie. Ah, there's the other cutie. Oh, Patrick. Patrick and his new, evidently he got a new tricycle. Here he comes flying. You know, I honestly believe I know it was Johnny that took all these pictures. And it was Mama's little 8mm camera. And Johnny took, there he is. And there's Joe and Johnny. Somebody else got the camera for a change. There you are, Patrick. Oh, your mama would love these pictures. I hope she saw them. I think she did. I wish she was here to talk about it. Patrick was a lovely child. He was born on October the 2nd, 1959. There, Daddy taking a picture. Patrick Joseph. I think it was Patrick Joseph. Yeah.
Yes.
We're taking these reels one at a time and trying to put them in order as best we can of the year. We may go like from one place to another and back to the first place and back again, but it's because they're on different reels. And we're trying to keep them as close in time as we can to the actual happening as we have them here. We'll see. I do believe this first one goes back to, yes it does, Mary Ann's graduation. This is out in the backyard. I think it's after they came home from graduation or before they went to graduation, I think. That's the dress she wore underneath her cap and gown, and here she is coming out the front door in her cap and gown. And there's her medal. Now I'd say that at this point, I don't know if she's on her way to graduate or if she's on her way coming home from graduation. But this is at the house. You saw the ceremony at the school on the last reel. And now we're back at the house. And this is the family, all dressed up and ready to go see their older sister graduate from high school. Yeah, this was a big day in her life. Ah, that was on their way to graduation. Here we are, more pictures of the graduation. I don't know how much more we're going to have, or whether this reel is going to be any better than the last one. The last one was beautiful, and I'm glad we have it, because it looks like this reel may not be as good as the last one. It's too bad they didn't have more of a light, but I don't think you could have the light in the gym. That's probably over. There we are. Okay, the graduation is over. Oh, here I am with Marianne. I'll be darned, that's me. And I'm wearing a maternity outfit, so I'm expecting some baby. 62, that would have been Peggy that I was expecting. There's Mama. Okay, this was at the gym. I didn't think I was at Marianne's graduation, but I guess I was there. I'll show you how far gone I am. Ah, there's the sisters. That's when the nuns were nuns. And there's Marianne's beautiful graduation dress. Now she would be able to tell you the name of this nun. I wish she was here, but she couldn't come because she's not well. She's got what is it? She's got
she's not well.
Shingles. Yeah, she's got a vacation. There I is. I'll be darned. I was there. Look at that. And I was expecting Peggy at the time. That would have been June of '62. And Peggy was born in September. Yeah. Now Marianne would be able to tell you the name of the sister. I'm sure she was well acquainted with all of them. They don't have any sisters at Regina anymore. In fact, last year they tore down the whole convent area. They just have the school now. Whatever sisters are there or teachers live in apartments. There's Daddy behind the Gratiot house. Yeah. Oh, here we go now. This is all the clan. Oh, I think this was we're back at Lakeport now, I think. There's Tommy. He was in the Air Force, and Aunt Irma. And there's Frank. Okay, Tommy and Aunt Irma. And there's, oh, I think this is Tommy going flying with the kids. He took them out to the airport, and he took them all up in an airplane. I remember them telling me about it. Uncle Tommy rented a plane and took them up for a ride in the airplane. I don't think he took all of them, but he took some of them were daredevils and went with them. You never could tell about Tommy. Boy, he was a character when he rented a plane. He was over in Ireland, and he flew the plane so low over Uncle Patrick's house, he had all the officials in Ireland on the buzz looking for him. They thought for sure he was going to land in somebody's house in Dublin. But he went real low over Uncle Patrick's house. I think he was a bit of a daredevil in his day. There he goes. You know, Mother used to worry so much about Tommy flying airplanes. 22 years in the Air Force. And she was always worried that he would not make it. But by golly, he not only made it, I understand he was the first jet pilot in Europe to pass paratrooper training. But my mother nearly had a heart attack when she found out he was skydiving. That really did her in, and he said, "Don't worry, Mama." I'll never forget what he said to her. "Don't worry, Mama." He said, "God made a day for me to be born and a day for me to die, and I'm not going to miss either one." And by golly, he's still here. I've lost 2 sisters and 2 brothers, and Tommy's still here. He'll probably bury the whole lot of us. God bless him. Here's Eugene and all his boys. There's little Annie. Hello, Annie. Yeah. Daddy's little fair-haired child. And that's Eugene and his boys and Frank and his boys. And there's Katie. That's when Eugene and Katie lived downstairs and we lived upstairs. Mom and Daddy did. I was married by this time. And there's Glenna. Okay, now what do we got? We have, uh-oh, I told you they were gone next, I said they're gone with 5 this year and they'll be back with 6 next year. Sure enough, there's Father Stephen in Glenna's arms. There he is. Is that Father Stephen or is that Eugene's Terry? Let me see. Oh, I wish I could get, who is that carrying a baby back there? I can't see. Didn't see her. Are we going back now? Okay, let's see. Okay, there's, I wonder if that was Father Stephen or if that was, no, that still looks like Ann the same age. I'll bet you that was Terry. Wait, there, right there. No, that's not Father Stephen. That's Terry. Hey, Terry, look up here till I see you. That's Eugene's Terry. Yeah, they slide over you too fast, Terry. There's little Eugene and little Terry. Now that's a lovely picture of both of them. And there's Frank and Phil and Grandpa and Frank. That is little Terry. No, evidently Father Stephen wasn't in the picture quite yet at this time. This is probably them when they were still on that same trip that they were on I just talked about before. When they were away with 5 and I said we'd be back with 6. Well, Father Stephen was number 6, Jane was number 7, and Jean was number 8. And there is Katie with Terry. Oh, Terry, we finally got a picture of you. You had a very prominent widow's peak. There she is with Terry. And there's John and Frank. Oh, those were the good days. And Eugene, and little Eugene. And Katie had Terry, and it looks like Katie might be expecting this little Joey there. It sure does. It looks like Katie was expecting there. We're saying goodbye. Yeah, see, now we're saying goodbye to them again. This is the second reel. There must have been 2 movie cameras going at this time. Because Ann was same size as when we said goodbye in the last reel. There you go. Okay. Now, where are we? Boy, we're bouncing back and forth. There's Daddy's Cadillac. There's the Weiss kids. Oh, here comes Tommy in the airplane again. Boy, see what I mean? There must have been 2 cameras going for some reason or other. I bet you Eugene had a camera at this time and was going with it. Somebody had a second camera. Because the last reel had some things on it that this reel has. Back out at the airport with that wild man Tommy. There's Tommy. This is another trip to the airport. He doesn't have the flight suit on this time. Now he's got shorts on. Ah, because I remember the Weiss kids telling me that Uncle Tommy took him out the airport and took him up on a plane. There they go. Yep. There they go. There he goes again. Anything for adventure in his life, I swear. He's almost 72 years of age and he's still roaming around the earth with adventure. More power to him in a way. There's the little kids. Who's out there? It looks like Eugene's family, Mary's family. Mary's away again with a few more. There's Glenna, Frank's family. Oh, the kids are all going up for a plane ride. The mothers had more guts than sense, I'll tell you, to let their children up in those little planes. Although Tommy used to say that if the little planes run out of gas, you can always glide them in. It's the big ones that are in trouble if they don't have any more fuel. Well, he's got Frank's family and his family and Mary's family out there. Oh my Lord, is that my mother? Is she going in that plane? Oh, Mother. And you thought I had no sense. Oh, you got a heart like a lion, Mama. By golly, she did. She went up in that plane. Well, I'll tell you this much. You got my mother up. But it'll be a cold day and you know where before I bet you he would have got my father up. The only thing that got my father in an airplane, dear Lord, was poor Johnny's operation in California. That was his first plane ride. He got on a plane with Mama and flew to California to be at Johnny's bedside. At first he wanted to go to California by himself, but then he oh, look at her. Oh, she made it. Then he decided he didn't want to be alone, and Mom and Daddy went out to be with him. God rest your soul, Mama. Oh, there's Daddy in his uniform. In his guard uniform. There he is. He was a guard for, oh, I don't know how many years, for McInerney. He had a great job. He used to sit out in the Orchard Lake. It wasn't Orchard Lake. No, it was Oakland Hills. He would sit at the front gate and say hello to everybody coming in to the country club to play golf and that. And it got to the point where he was there so long, he didn't even need to see their pass. He knew their first and last name. Now that was a real tough job, but he loved it. There's Annie. Oh, now that's little Eugene. Hi, Eugene. Ah, and that is Francis. Hi, Francis. And Joey. That's my godson, Joseph. I have two godsons, Freddie Colby and Joseph Weiss. Thank God they're both good boys today. There's Tommy's family, Frank's family. Heavens to Betsy. I hope they appreciate all these films and pictures. Oh, this has got to be at Lakeport. Yes, this is the family reunion. We're back at Lakeport for the family reunion. I told you the bunch of the families came and I was surprised it wasn't on the other reel, but now here they all are here. That was Mama renting the cottages the last time. Now she's got the whole crew here for the party. It was Frank's and Mary's and Tommy's. There they are. Everybody's out. They had a great week at the cottage, all together. We used to have some wonderful times up at Aunt Catherine's cottage, too. Frank's family and my family, and I'm sure all the other families went. And one time I even took Jimmy and his wife Susie and their children and had a great time. It's a lot of fun to go to the lake in the summertime. Now, what do we got here? Somebody's car's getting towed.
Out of the lake.
Is that out in the lake?
Mm-hmm.
Are they in a boat here? No, they're on the land.
The boat next to the car.
Huh?
They might have been trying to bring the boat out, or put the boat in and get stuck maybe.
Well, I don't know who had a boat. I remember Eugene had a boat for a while. But I don't think he kept the boat after Joey had an accident and got hurt really bad. Joey got hurt really bad in the boat and Eugene got rid of the boat. I don't think he had a boat after that. Now see, I wasn't here, so I don't know what this is all about, but there's a tow truck there.